this is Cam, and welcome to another episode of the Quarantine Leadership Series. I'm here with Cat Kom. I keep wanting to say Cat.com here, and she's joining us. Yeah, she's joining us today from the left coast, from California. So we're excited to have you here. Tell us a little bit about Studio Sweat and your company.
Hey Cam, thanks for having me. Super fun idea. I'm Cat Kom, and I'm the owner of Studio Sweat and Studio Sweat On Demand. So Studio Sweat is our brick and mortar facility or facilities in California, and then Studio Sweat On Demand is our virtual gym. And we started Studio Sweat On Demand back in 2012, so luckily well before the world went crazy. It was really a way for us to provide virtual workouts to those that needed them for whatever reason, whether it was because they didn't have a gym that was near them, or just because they were short on time, or they didn't like going to the gym. And so initially we were very consumer focused. Our virtual workouts were meant for people that were taking the classes from home. And then a couple of years ago, we started offering commercial licenses where facilities like the YMCA could offer virtual classes to their members within the walls of their own facility. And so that was very exciting. And of course, we were doing well all along, but then when COVID hit, we of course got a nice bump when it came to our consumers. But then of course there was the fallback, and just us trying to help our commercial clients like the YMCAs to be able to keep as many of their members as they could. So what we did was we started working with the YMCAs to, as quickly as possible, offer virtual classes to their members. So it's been pretty exciting.
Great, that's good. So obviously you have a brick and mortar facility. What's the status of that and for y'all in California?
Well, in California, right now, it really just depends on the county that you're in. But I'm fortunate enough to be in a county where the gyms are at least allowed to partially open, whereas most of the counties in California, you're not allowed to open. But I'm in San Diego County, and in San Diego, we can offer outdoor workouts with social distancing measures in place. And then for indoor operations, you're only allowed, and this is going to boggle your mind, but to operate at 10% capacity as a gym. So that's pretty tough. But, a lot of people, including myself, we're doing it. We're doing what we can with the limitations that are being imposed on us. And so luckily, I have a decent amount of room to at least offer Group X. So we're getting by just okay with the 10% capacity, but so many gyms and fitness studios, especially a lot of the boutiques, they were just too small. And with the weather, it's really hard to just shift to outdoor. It's either too hot or it's too cold. I'm sure you guys have dealt with all of that. So doing the best we can, and at least, like I said, in San Diego, at least we're able to do something to help our members and our own businesses.
Well, I appreciate you joining us today. We want to continue, health and wellness and membership is such an important piece to the puzzle for the YMCAs and all of them. It's an important piece. And for people listening and watching, Kat's an industry leader, and I wanted to introduce you to her. And so just wanted to continue the discussion with you. And so give us some advice on what YMCA should be focusing on right now.
We've spoken to a lot of YMCAs and other fitness centers around the nation and even around the world, and it's been really interesting to see how it is in different communities. And that's one of the things that I think is going to be important to remember. And I'm sure even within the pockets of your own cities, there's different areas that are more progressive and more conservative, and unfortunately, because of that, I feel like what we all need to focus on in the fitness industries, and the YMCAs in particular with your audiences, is offering a lot of flexibility. You're going to have people that are ready to come back, they're jonesing to come back. I'm sure you've already seen it. Then you're going to have a lot of others that are too nervous to come in. And then you'll have others that you'll see, and you're seeing this already, I know this, but that are ready to come in, but boy, you better provide them lots of safety measures, lots of options, and lots of space. You know, and the thing too is you have to be able to turn on a dime, right? I think we've learned that with what we're dealing with right now. You have to be able to quickly pivot your programs based on what's going on and what people want in the moment. And so offering that flexibility within your branch, I think, is going to be pretty important, or branches. And when I say offering flexibility, like I think of Group X, right? Your Group X classes, it's so
Sure.
key, right? It's community, right? I mean, right? You guys offer lots of Group X, and that's very exciting. People look forward to their classes. It's how they engage with their trainers at the YMCAs. And so basically, I feel like every Y is going to need to offer in-person classes when they can, and for those that want to, they're going to need to offer virtual classes that members can take on their own personal devices and on screens that you provide. Because one of the things that we're seeing be really successful as people are coming back into the branches is offer them a space that they can go to take a virtual class with just them and what we're calling, I'm sure you have your names too, but we call them your COVID clique, like the people you're hanging out with.
Yes,
right?
great.
Yeah, that's who you're hanging out with. So you and your other two besties that are part of your COVID clique. Well, obviously it's not worth it for the YMCAs to pay an instructor to come in and teach 3 people, but those 3 people, they might stop coming. They might not renew their membership if you don't offer them things like this. So you provide a screen for them and a space that they can go and take a virtual workout, just the 3 of them together. They're still getting that feel. They're getting out of their houses, which we all need right now. And your branch also has the equipment that they might not have at home. So now you're offering them in person, you're offering them on screen, in branch virtual classes that they can take by themselves or in their COVID clique. And then of course you also need to provide them classes, virtual classes, whether they be live or on demand, that they can take from home when they want to, or even on their own personal devices when they come into your facility. So there's a lot of things that that people are going to be looking for, and it's going to be up to the branches to make sure to offer all of those things so that they're tackling, making sure all, their audiences with all of these different feelings right now, are looking for.
So how are, and with the Studio Sweat product,
Mm-hmm.
how am I building community when it's a virtual instructor?
Well, with Studio Sweat On Demand, one of the things that we do is we have our core training group. And I look at it like we become an extension of the YMCA trainers and instructors. So they get to know those Studio Sweat On Demand instructors just like they know their local trainers at the Y. But the other thing that we're doing, at least at Studio Sweat On Demand, that's very important, is we are offering a program where the YMCAs can upload their own content to our platform, and then it's delivered to their members. So their members not only get the benefit of all the Studio Sweat On Demand workouts, because we've been doing this for so long. We have, I think it's about 1,500, 1,600 classes in our library, and across the board of every type. So we've got specialty classes in boxing and BOSU and things that are going to take the YMCAs a while to build up, even if they're filming their own content. But to be able to take if one of your branches, like it was your main filming branch, and you guys decided to start recording some of your, what's one of the most popular classes? Cam, give me one.
Well, I mean, our spin class, it's really instructor driven. Our spin classes are popular.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say that, hey, you know what? You take your most popular instructor. It's Michelle. Everybody loves Michelle. Her classes sell out all the time. You, at that branch, record the workout, and then you upload it to our platform. And now those classes with Michelle are available for your members. And they're like, oh my gosh, it was so cool to see you on the big screen in my house, by the way, or at the YMCA. Michelle, that was so awesome. So now they're just feeling that engagement, and if the classes are recorded properly, and it does take some coaching with the instructors, you'll find people even taking the classes from home are talking back to Michelle on screen, just like they were in with her. And then of course you can do live classes as well. We are already starting to see a pretty decent drop off in live streaming classes, which doesn't surprise me. So I think the easiest way for the YMCAs to pivot, which I'm sure many of yours did when COVID hit, was to offer live streaming via Zoom, like pretty common. Is that what you guys did?
Yeah, and social media, did some Facebook Live, etc.
Yeah, you have to be really careful, by the way, with your music licensing. I want to get that out there. We would need a good 8-hour vlog just to talk about music licensing, but I do want to make sure that everyone is cautious of that. A lot of clubs think that they have proper licensing because they have something for online, but then come to find out later they had no right to use that music. So be really careful with that. But where I was going with the live streaming is that was a quick pivot point, but now as people are returning to work and some normalcy in certain areas, the live streaming is becoming less and less popular, and so those virtual classes are going back to more on demand. So in other words, people are doing less live stream classes already. They're taking less live stream and they're pivoting more to in-person and on demand, which is where it was more before. So I think that there was a big boom of people wanting to take those live streaming classes, but we're already seeing numbers drop there across the board. So just be prepared for that. I want to make sure that then, and don't let that, it can be disheartening because it's almost like with the live classes, when the numbers go down, whether COVID hit or not, it's a bit of a bummer, and you have to figure out, okay, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to revise my schedule? That same thing's going to happen with the live streaming classes. You're going to see those numbers start to drop there. Just knowing it's coming, I think, is helpful, and then have a game plan for that by offering more on demand, whether it be through Studio Sweat on demand, which we're happy to help you, or you have another way to deliver those pre-recorded classes that people can click play on whenever they want.
But obviously in this world, I think the key thing you shared is we got to be flexible
100%.
and, and we got to be wider and deeper, for our members to give them some things that they want just to bring them back. The couple of times, as we close and wrap up, I appreciate your time. The couple of times we've connected and talked, obviously you're a great leader, an entrepreneur, and the work that you do. But I want to just give you a couple of fun questions to close out so people get to know you. Tell us, what's your favorite movie?
Do people really have a favorite movie? I have so many favorite movies. It really kind of depends on my mood. One that always pops into my head, and people are going to be like, what? Is Something About Mary. I'm telling you, I know everyone probably thinks they pick these classics, and I do love the classics as well, but I'm telling you, that was cutting edge when something that really broke the mold, I tell you. And I was in my late teens, I think, when that movie came out, and it was so funny and so shocking. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it. And then I love, my typical answer, the answer most people would expect to hear, and it is true, is probably Rudy. I love that movie. It's so heartwarming, and I've always been a huge fan of, anything to do with sports. It's just been my world, and I have so much fun watching those. But Rudy, man, that kid has heart, right?
I'm a big Notre Dame fan, and if I had any technology skills, I would close this interview with the Rudy music in the background, but I don't really.
I think where there's a will, there's a way. You can do it. I'm going to be watching for that.
As an entrepreneur, what fuels your fire?
That's a really good question. Honestly, I feel like what fuels my fire, Cam, is progress and execution. Like, I'm never one to be satisfied with things being okay or mediocre. And I love to see things progress. I always tell everyone that I talk to, including my kids, about this, but an idea without execution is just an idea. And on the flip side, if you execute an idea, you can be making huge strides and changes. And so every time I see an idea whether it be mine or someone else that I'm close to, or my kids, or anyone on my team, I always get, I just get so excited, and I'm kind of a geek when it comes to technology. So well, and that works out great in a lot of ways. But when I see things happen, like the first time we ever figured out how we could, with Studio Sweat On Demand, make a class auto launch onto a screen based on a time we picked. When my team pulled that off, oh, my fire was fueled. I was so excited. So and I remember one time too, my husband said, can't we just, like, everything's going so well with the business, can't we just like ride this wave for a little bit? Can we stop adding new things and new features and new programs? And I'm like, do you know me at all?
That's right.
I'm like, no, we gotta keep moving. We gotta keep getting better. And so I just get really excited when I see forward progress, and I'll never just ride that wave.
That's why you're a great dynamic entrepreneur and leader. I appreciate you joining and learning, and let me introduce you to some Y people. We need to get you on the right coast, on the East Coast.
I want to be. We do have a presence over there, but I would love to work with the YMCAs and to see how we could work together to take all of this on.
Yeah, if you're watching this and you want to connect, get in touch with me, and I can put you and Kat together and with her and her company. And please share this with your teams, and let's make our communities healthier and get more people back in the YMCA. Kat, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Cam. Have a great afternoon over there on the East Coast. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you. See ya.
You bet. Bye, Cam.